Welcome to a land of ice and mystery, where ancient legends echo across snow-covered mountains, and where the Arctic meets human resilience. This is Greenland, the world's largest island, and one of its least understood. In this video, we're diving into the rich history and fascinating facts about Greenland, an island that has captivated explorers, scientists, and even world leaders. Let's begin with the basics. Greenland is the largest island on Earth. It's not a continent, it spans more than 2.1 million square kilometers, 3 times the size of Texas, or about 7 times the size of the United Kingdom. But here's the twist, about 80% of it is covered by a massive ice sheet. That's more ice than anywhere else in the world, except Antarctica. Yet, despite its frozen reputation, Greenland's name suggests something a bit more inviting. Why? Blame it on Erik the Red. In the late 10th century, the Viking outlaw Erik the Red was exiled from Iceland after committing murder. Sailing westward in search of new lands, he discovered the southern coast of Greenland, an area that during a brief warm period was surprisingly green and fertile. Erik returned to Iceland with a clever marketing plan. He called the icy land Greenland, hoping the pleasant name would attract settlers. And it worked. In 985 AD, he led a group of Norse colonists to establish the eastern settlement along Greenland's southwest coast. They built farms, churches, and small communities that survived for nearly 500 years. But eventually, the Norse settlers vanished. Historians debate why. Some blame the Little Ice Age, others point to changing trade routes or conflicts with the Inuit. Whatever the cause, their disappearance remains one of Greenland's enduring historical mysteries. But long before the Vikings arrived, Greenland had already seen human footprints. The earliest known people to inhabit Greenland were from the Sakak culture, dating back over 4,000 years. They were followed by the Dorset and later the Thule cultures. The Thule people, ancestors of today's Inuit Greenlanders, arrived around the 13th century. They were expert hunters, especially skilled in navigating Arctic waters by kayak and dog sled. Their culture, deeply connected to the natural world, continues to shape Greenlandic identity today. Greenland is now home to around 56,000 people, most of them Inuit, and most of them living along the coast, since the interior is covered by an impenetrable sheet of ice up to 3 kilometers thick. The capital city is Nuuk, located in the southwest. Though it only has about 19,000 residents, Nuuk is Greenland's largest city, and it's where tradition meets modern life, with art museums, sushi restaurants, fishing ports, and political institutions all sharing the same streets. Speaking of politics, Greenland is an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark. This means that while Denmark handles foreign affairs and defense, Greenland has its own parliament and controls domestic matters, including education, environment, and natural resources. Greenland was a Danish colony until 1953, when it became a part of the Danish realm. In 1979, it gained home rule. And in 2009, a new era began with the Self-Government Act, giving Greenland more control over its future. But Greenland's importance isn't just cultural or historical, it's also geopolitical. In 1946, the United States, under President Harry Truman, offered to buy Greenland from Denmark for $100 million. The offer was declined. And in 2019, the idea resurfaced when President Donald Trump expressed interest in purchasing Greenland, calling it strategically important. That sparked global headlines and a firm response from Greenland and Denmark. No thanks. We're not for sale. So why is Greenland so strategically important? For one, it sits in the Arctic between North America and Europe. It's home to the US military's northernmost base, Thule Air Base, established during World War II. And with climate change opening up new shipping routes and access to untapped natural resources, Greenland's importance is only growing. Now let's talk about the ice. Greenland's ice sheet is one of the most studied on Earth. If it were to melt completely, global sea levels would rise by over 7 meters. Or about 23 feet. Scientists monitor it closely, and Greenland's glaciers are already melting at an accelerating pace, contributing to rising oceans worldwide. But it's not all ice and politics. Greenland is also full of surprises. Let's look at some fun facts. Number 1, Greenland has no roads between towns. Yes, you heard that right. To get from one community to another, people travel by boat, snowmobile, helicopter, or airplane. Number 2, the Greenland shark, which lives in the deep Arctic waters around the island, is the longest living vertebrate on Earth. Some are estimated to be over 400 years old. Number 3, you can see the northern lights, also known as aurora borealis, from Greenland almost year-round. And during summer, the island experiences the midnight sun, where the sun doesn't set for weeks. Number 4, Greenland has more sled dogs than people in some areas. Dog sledding is still a common mode of transport in the north and east. Number 5. The national dish of Greenland is called swarsat, a soup made from seal, whale or reindeer meat, typically seasoned with onions and herbs. Despite its remote location, Greenland is more connected to the world than ever before. Tourism is on the rise, especially among travelers seeking adventure, untouched nature and cultural authenticity. Hiking past fjords, kayaking among icebergs, or sharing a meal in an Inuit village. These are the kinds of experiences that make Greenland unforgettable. But Greenland is also at a crossroads. There has been a huge rise in global attention on its climate, resources, and strategic location. The island faces questions about independence, sustainability, and its place in the modern world. Recently, Donald Trump, being back in the presidency, has gone on a very unpopular campaign in the United States, Denmark, and especially Greenland itself to buy the island, sending his vice president and wife on a trip to Greenland where not a single resident would welcome VP Vance into their home, forcing a change of plans for the trip. Vance and his wife's trip ended up being limited to just being a visit to a US military base. A big embarrassment to Trump. Still, through all its changes, one thing remains constant. Greenland is a land of resistance and resilience, where people live in harmony with some of the harshest environments on Earth, where ancient traditions endure and where the ice holds stories that date back millennia. So the next time you hear the name Greenland, don't just picture an icy wasteland, picture a land of extremes and contrasts, of heritage and hope, of vast silence and deep stories. Thank you for watching the 5-Minute History channel. We hope you enjoyed this journey through Greenland and its history. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more great journeys through history and our world.